Hello, and welcome to the Untold Stories Project. Tonight we present a brand new episode of Tales of the Finest, our ongoing 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game using the Blue Rose setting from Green Ronin Publishing. My name is Jonesy, and I will be your game master this evening. A quick note for those unfamiliar with Blue Rose. In Blue Rose, the players take on the role of members of the Sovereign's Finest, commonly referred to as envoys. Uh, where they act as agents of the crown, tackling on any number of challenges such as settling border disputes, assisting in disaster relief, tracking down current spies, to stopping the shadow spawns from incursion into Aldous or anything else the crown needs them to do. A few quick housekeeping bits before we jump in. We are a tiny but growing channel. If you like what we do, please consider doing all the cool YouTube and Twitch things, such as liking, sharing, following, subscribing, etc. Along with that, if you're watching live, you can definitely help out the envoys with their mission by tapping exclamation, and to see how to do it, just type exclamation point BR unlocks into the chat, and you'll get a little update on how to do that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in and meet the envoys who have gathered. Envoys, if you would like to introduce yourselves, your character's name, your character's ancestry, and what class they are. And tonight's character question is, last week we asked, what was your favorite thing about being an envoy? And tonight we're asking, what is the character's least favorite thing about being an envoy? So with that, go ahead and we'll start work our way across the screen. So we'll start with Will.
Hi friends, my name is Will. What else can I tell you? Character name, I'm playing Kale Pelora. I am a human cleric of the Radiant domain. So that's super fun. Character question, what is my least favorite thing about being an envoy? Well, I'm from Jarzon, and so all of my family is still back there. I'm Jarzoni. So I miss my sister a lot, I would say, is probably the thing that I'm least happy about being an envoy. But for the most part, it's pretty cool. That's me. I'll pass it over to Alex.
Hi everybody, I'm Alex, and tonight I will be playing the part of Drake, who is a Rye Raccoon rogue. And his least favorite part about being an envoy is having to wake up early because Kale wants to greet the sun.
Oh my god. What game are we playing now?
You just can't get away from it, man.
No, seriously.
All these morning people.
Okay, I made choices, all right? Well, you mentioned morning people, so here we go. I'm Andy, no, not that one, and I am playing Vam Bandma, who is not a morning person. He is, in fact, a night person. Nice little lean back. And he is a fighter, and his least favorite thing about being an envoy, honestly, all of this good behavior really cuts into his drinking time. And with that, I pass it to Brian.
Oh, hey everybody, I'm playing Ula Beinleiter. She is a barbarian CO. And her least favorite thing about being the envoy is all the bookkeeping and paperwork and homework that she detested at home and she hates even more here. I'll go ahead and pass it off to Aaron.
Evening, everybody. I'm Aaron. I am playing Tizra Vasker, who is a Vatasha warlock. And the thing that Tizra finds the most unpleasant about being an envoy is simply the fact that the world is in such a state that we have a need for one.
Awesome. Oh, excellent job. A couple of other notes I'll throw in there since it was brought up. Alex is playing what he called a Raiden, which is an awakened animal. That's one of the unique things about Aldous and Blue Rose is that along with the other playable character races you also, and ancestries, you also have awakened animals known as Raiden. So not all animals awaken, but those who do actually have telepathic ability to communicate with other folk, as they call them, other sentient folk. So with that, we'll dive on in. Does anyone want to do a quick recap of what the envoys got up to last week?
I'll do it. Last week on Tales of the Finest, our heroes, we joined our heroes in the middle of individual training for their specific classes. Kale was helping people in the infirmary. I was reverse pickpocketing random people who needed a little bit of help from the crown. Ula was trying to get through a math textbook as a barbarian, which was awesome. Vom was getting punched in the head by somebody in the training courses, and Teesra was communing with the Autumn King? Autumn Knight?
Autumn King.
Autumn King. After which we all headed down to our favorite bar, the Ballad and the Blade, where we saw a young man get poisoned. The envoys entered into pursuit of the would-be assassin, where we chased him into an alley where we found a number of ruffians who were turned into these strange dark goblin shadow spawn creatures. We fought with them, and we took the corpse of the assassin back to be inspected by the college. The following morning, we received an invitation to come to a meeting to talk about what had happened, urging us to come alone and suggesting that maybe we shouldn't trust anyone. We went to the meeting, and that is where we left off for the week, as we prepared to discuss what had happened with, I don't remember the guy's name. But that guy and Soot, a Rye Crow, who was joining the group. Quinlan Holden summoned us, was their name.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I think that about covers everything we got up to.
Awesome. So we find our envoys late at night in the heart of Aldous, in the main ward, the center ward of Aldous, the High Ward, which is the oldest and highest point in the entire city. There are several neighborhoods in this area, along with the Queen's Palace, the Royal Palace. And in the well-to-do Eastridge section neighborhood of the High Ward, we have with its large homes and its garden homes, we find a small two-story garden home set off from the city street by a small wrought iron fence and the local grounds that surround it. It's well tended out front. And deep inside, we find our envoys. They have been invited, and they're currently not wearing their envoy uniforms. They've been, as they're sitting there discussing small talk, chit chat with Quinlan, who's a well-known explorer and seeker of adventure, so much so that there's a small series of novellas that are kind of popular within the city that are actually based on some of his exploits, and by based on I mean loosely based on and quite exaggerated, but and they have been joined by Master Soot. He is a senior envoy and professor at the Royal College. And with that, we begin tonight's episode. Quinlan kind of adjusts his posture and kind of adjusts his voice upon Soot's arrival. Soot has flown in through one of the open windows and perched on one of the many rests and areas set up to house various Ryden visitors in this grand sitting room of this nice, well-appointed home. I would like to thank you for joining us this evening. You recently indirectly got involved in a rather delicate situation which we're currently investigating, and we felt it only right to tell you what was going on and maybe see if you can assist us.
We would be happy to. We were not so subtly told not to investigate it.
Um, as you may know, I have traveled extensively throughout Aldea, um, including to the regions to the east and west of us, including Jarzon and the edges of the Shadow Barrens, even, and a few other areas. Um, and recently, I was down south, a few days right from here. We have recently discovered a underground vault or tomb or something along those lines. We're not exactly sure what its original purpose was. It seems to have been used by uh, various different people over the years for different purposes. But we did identify that it dates back to um, before the Shadow Wars, before the rise of the Sorcerer Kings and Queens. To that end, we were investigating and we found a rather large cache of maps and books and other ancient lore that is quite valuable. We did want to arrange for those to be sent up to Aldous to be studied at the Royal College in the Royal Archives. And I was going to assist with that along with several other of the professors. And with that, Soot kind of does a little head nod. When the contents were stolen from us, I spent the better part of a couple of weeks tracking the thieves, and the trail led me back here to Aldous.
You know who stole them from you?
We believe, well, my investigation believes, and I based off what happened yesterday, I stand to believe I'm correct, but it was a small group known as the Night Pads.
Yeah,
They're known.
you're right. That was a night pad that got murdered.
So now we are trying to discover what they did with the goods. Given that we suspect that Night Pads obviously were tipped off and we suspect others are being involved, we don't want to cause too much attention by dragging too many envoys, at least senior envoys, into the investigation. Because then any trails that we might have would immediately go cold. At least that's our suspicions. So
We are perfect for this because we are nobody.
Don't say that, Teaser. It's because we ain't got narc faces. We don't look like
Yes,
cops.
what the raccoon said.
yeah, so to the end, I did speak to Master Soot. We believe, well, yes, we would like your assistance, but this obviously is something that we need to keep rather quiet about, at least for now, because as you did encounter several, let's just call them what they are, ruffians. We believe they weren't always the way they were. I mean, that's definitely the work of someone dabbling in the occult and the darkest of shadow magics. So we believe at least one or more sorcerers are involved.
Do you know how they were able to do it? Change those ruffians into creatures.
And with that, Soot kind of speaks up, and as he speaks, his voice actually carries. Normally, you'd hear him in just in your mind's ear, but you actually can hear him vocally as well, as it does appear that Quinlan owns a speaking stone that's been placed in the sitting room. So those without psychic talents can actually hear. Anyone can project, but still, it's a little less strain for the writing just to be able to speak to the stone and then have it heard.
Right, we encountered that last week with Drake.
So with that, he so what kind of we believe it was a imbued elixir of some sort. We were able to go back and gather a little sample from where of the agent that seems the reagent that seemed to trigger the transformation was, and it seemed to have been some sort of two-part compound. We believe that the ruffians were tricked into drinking the first half of it earlier, and it itself would be inert until the second agent was introduced. But it was definitely created through the use of occult magics.
Diabolical, messing with a man's drink like that.
I will. I'll produce the notes that I have on the 2 different agents that I got from the last round, and I'll just hand them off if they'll be helpful to whatever research they're doing there.
Oh, we do appreciate it. Yeah, it does seem to be. Now, who that group worked for, we weren't able to identify them. We do, as you confirmed, the murder victim was a member of the Night Pads. The assassin, we have yet to be able to identify him. We don't know if he was a local. He doesn't appear to be a local. We did find a strange brand that was burned into his wrist. And then the ruffians that were goblinized, for lack of a better term, seem to be a third faction. So there seems to be multiple players involved in here. So we're not quite sure what we can say to whom without tipping someone off.
Could you draw that brand for us? Maybe one of us has seen it before.
Certainly. And with that, he doesn't draw it, but he does kind of project it, and then you all get a visual image of what he saw. And it seems to be a stylized, almost like a wax seal, like someone, instead of heating up the wax and pressing the seal in it seems almost like someone heated up the sealer and pressed it in someone's flesh. And it has a stylized E and interlocking E and sorry, this is GMS with brain fart. V, an E and a V.
Have I seen that before, Jonesy?
Okay, is this something that there would be any sort of knowledge check that could be made about it?
Certainly.
Those of us who are from Kern.
Anyone who'd like can make me a history or arcana check.
Okay.
I ain't good at that.
That's
Got the 23, a natural 20 for a 23.
Well, I'm at the other end of the scale with a natural 1 for a 5.
I'm not trained in any of those skills, and it doesn't seem like something Drake would know, so I won't roll.
Just on the off chance, but no, this is going to be a hilariously bad roll. He said, having rolled a 17.
I was gonna say, that's not a terribly bad roll.
No,
Actually, you rolled an 18, but
I know. I have a -1 at history. I don't remember stuff. You know?
I'm sure something happened to somebody at some point.
So,
Way bit familiar.
so with that, Um, 23.
I'm sorry.
No, that's totally fine.
Straight up nat 20, yeah.
Yeah.
It does. It does seem familiar, and you well, part of it seems familiar. Um, the edges. So as you're staring at it, the edges of the seal pattern has a faint pattern that you can kind of vaguely, faintly make out. And as you look at it, it seems to be interlocking vines and thorns. So you can't quite place like it seems kind of familiar, but you can't place like, oh, this means exactly this. But you do think it is has some connection to the old empire. Before the Great Rebellion, there was the previous empire that was the Empire of Thorns that ruled the nation, and it was in the height of that, and that led to the Shadow Wars after the former empress died.
How interesting. This brand seems to be old, very old. Do you notice over here the circle around it? Vines and thorns, perhaps. The Empire of Thorns, Mr. Soot?
We didn't think it would. Didn't initially cross my mind that it might be that old, because the gentleman obviously was not that old. But yeah, it's an interesting inquiry. I can follow up with some of the other professors at the Royal College and see if they can glean any information based on that.
Sure.
So, with that being said, is there any other questions or about what you've uncovered or what you've stumbled into?
I guess mostly just what do you want us to do about it?
with that, Quinlan's like, well, at minimum, would like you to keep it quiet, at least until we have a better handle on what's going on. If you'd be willing, we would like you to investigate, to dig in and see what you can find out.
Yeah, where do you want us to start? Well, I can't speak for the whole group, but I'm interested.
No, we are. I think we are all committed.
Already involved in it, anyway.
Oh, that too. Yes. Besides, we are a circle. But yes, do you have any suggestions for where we could begin? Other than keeping it quiet.
Well,
It's about a vault. Did I miss that? Like a vault, someplace underground that you was talking about.
yeah, we found a vault a few days right from here. It's currently still being excavated. We have several historians from the Royal College looking into it, along with some other scholars. It's pretty secure. The primary concern was the items that were stolen from it.
Do we know what those items were?
Mostly appear to be ancient histories, texts, tomes, maps.
Drake, is this something that you would have any contacts with people who would traffic in these sorts of things?
I'm not sure I appreciate the insinuation, but yeah, there's probably some folks that I know who would be willing to purchase.
I did not say that you would traffic in such a thing, just that you might know a person who knows a person. You know, I have nothing but respect for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What the raccoon said. Grumble, 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 grumble.
What about our person in recovery? Might they know something as well?
If they survive.
Can we get to them?
I will look to Soot to see if he knows.
And Jonesy, whatever you want me to roll to see if I know a fence who might be interested in things like this.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. There's it'll take a couple of days of digging around and asking around and stuff. The gentleman that you brought in, he sorry, I'm sorry, Steve Jonesy's. I'm blanking. Referring to the one that you threw into a barrel, or are you referring to?
No, the one that we were actually able to save.
Not the poisoner, but the poisonee in the bar that Kale managed to stabilize before they died.
Or I guess both. They both could know something.
As far as the that's what I was asking. Like, wait, there's a couple of them, so let me make sure I'm answering the right one for you.
Poisoning is dead, isn't he?
Yeah, the would-be assassin was murdered by the goblinized victims. His body is being dispatched of. The other one we have moved to a quiet location. If you think it might be useful, we can arrange for you to speak with him. Possibly. And with that, at least that's something we can look into. And with that,
I mean, usually people don't just get poisoned because they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Usually. I mean, there are those guys who poison the water hole or whatever, but that's different.
Right, but no, clearly the man had a reason to poison this person. And
Well, he had a sketch of the guy. It was specifically this guy he was after.
exactly. So there's either they know something or there's something special about this person.
Well, it sounds like he might be in low constitution at the moment. Maybe we save him as a last resort and let him recover as much as possible.
And I mean, yes, of course, but at the same time, it seems like they might have the most lead.
They might be really happy to talk to the people who saved their lives, too.
There is that, too.
And I don't know if that healing medicine makes she'll loop you or not, but I hear tell that it does.
Oh, it does. It does.
so with that, Soot kind of and it chips in and kind of chirps in and kind of interrupts the current conversation. And we do why we do appreciate the offer for assistance, and we will take you up on it. This can't be an official assignment, at least not yet. And since that is the case, you would still need to at least put on the pretense of completing your current training. So the investigation would have to happen off hours. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Well, as far as I know, this is not something that has a. I mean, it is important, but does not seem like it is so urgent that we would have to abandon everything else to take care of it. So I understand that.
and Quinlan's like, and I will do what I can to assist, but if I involve myself too greatly, obviously I can draw unwanted attention sometimes when I go out. And I am expected to go on a upcoming expedition soon, out to the jungles of West.
Don't worry, we can take care of it.
So, but obviously, if there's anything I can do to assist, make things easier, arrange for equipment if necessary, just obviously let me know.
Sounds like we have some homework to do.
I'm very sorry, Willa.
I'm already confused.
Why you gotta make something as cool as Cloak and Dagger sound like homework, Kale?
Why do you have to make Cloak and Dagger sound as cool as homework?
I don't know if it's physically possible for my eyes to roll with my skull shape, but they're rolling in my head.
I don't know, but I've just lost track of this conversation, mate.
So much to read, so little time.
Okay, you're a man after my own heart.
All right, nerds, let's get out of here.
And so with that, you are leaving for the evening and heading back to the dormitories, or is there something else on your list?
Pub?
Yeah, I guess it is the end of the second day. I'm okay to go down to the pub if you guys want to go down to the pub.
Always happy to go where other people are.
Oh, looks like we
Walking around
Shuffle.
on you. What do you call them? Yeah.
Sorry, I think my video flickered there. That's my bad. On the way home, I would like to just pick out my notebook and scribble down what we saw as that insignia, the wax seal.
Okay.
Just so that I don't lose that.
Awesome. So with that, you have left Quinlan's home, and you're heading out to stop by and grab a quick drink at the Ballot and the Blade before calling it a night. While there, you start discussing a little bit amongst yourselves, and to the end, I'll obviously tell you the investigation piece to try to track up leads will be done as a skill challenge.
Okay.
So you have a couple different skills that can be used amongst the party to try to get leads on where these, a lead on who attacked or who was being attacked, or some details on that. Basically, the way it's going to be set up is that you need a number of successes before hitting a set number of failures, and basically you have each roll is going to basically be one day. So it'll basically be kind of the montage scene from like every 80s movie ever, where you basically spend half your days in class, and then at night you are following up on fences or getting leads or tracking or doing whatever you were trying to do to try to find a lead on either the attackers or the attackees or something along those lines. So, quick note for Alex, if you didn't notice, it looks like we all shuffled on the overlay. So.
Oh no.
Have we?
Oh, yes, we did.
I wonder if that's from
correct.
the video flickering.
Yeah, it's a bit wonky.
So.
Well, everybody do the Cupid shuffle while I do my thing here.
And cue Benny Hill music in 3, 2.
Hey! Yeah, it's much nicer. More comfy over here.
I don't think Brian wants to run the game, so.
Oh, somehow, Aaron, you have escaped the bonds of your window. There we go.
I see that. I was like, I'm outside of the frame.
The part of Deadpool will be played by Aaron.
I cannot be contained.
Got to inform you, you're in a box.
No.
So with that,
Nobody puts baby in a box.
we have a couple different options as far as like what skills you want to use, and obviously if you have an idea for one that you want to use and it's not on my list, please let me know. But basically, I'm going to let each player make a roll, and I'll be the lead that you're following for that day. And so the outcome will determine, one, how long it takes you, and two, whether or not you do it before you hit the failure threshold. So, who would like to start?
I'm gonna go look for criminals to talk to.
Okay. So, which skill would you like to try to use for that? Are you looking for persuasion or deception or what?
I think deception. I'm gonna try to play it as Drake is looking to sell something valuable to somebody who's interested in journals and maps and other knowledge-based antiquities. So we'll see.
Awesome.
We'll see what happens. Nat 20, 24.
Awesome.
Wow.
Couldn't do that if you wanted to.
Right? And I'll requisition something from the college that's fancy old journal.
Awesome. So with that, you do go ahead and you're talking some fences, trying to get some leads, and have the whole little montage going on. Insert montage music here. Actually. So.
Hey, it's montage music.
Yep. So with that, what is so you got some leads, you're tracking some stuff down. Who else is going to be assisting with this?
Assisting with Drake specifically, or just in general?
Just in general, trying to find some leads.
I know Drake's ran his mouth around enough that sometimes things in the city change if you look for them. So I'll just do a perception and just take patrols every day.
Awesome.
See if something's off. Something might be off. So nat 20.
Damn.
Another one? Another? Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's apparently International RPG Day, and
These hobos using chalk to mark up my town.
and they want
What
to
are great numbers.
they want to support you on this. Apparently, roll 20. So, cool. I was thinking tough time. I heard. It seemed like
Yeah,
there was a waiting follow up coming out of that.
Yeah, that's. I'm trying to have a thought, and it's not working.
Well, 'cause I'm thinking about all Vom's good for is just you could go find people who look suspicious, as if they might be affiliated with the Night Pads. Is that what they're called? Excuse me. And do the Batman thing and just try to intimidate.
Awesome.
Try to bully them for information.
Hang out on water towers.
By all means.
Oh,
I did not roll a nat 20. I only rolled a nat 19,
Aw.
which gives me a 22 in total. I broke the streak, didn't I?
Yeah, you broke the streak with a 19. How dare you?
I know, right?
There goes all of our good luck.
The dice pot giveth, the dice pot taketh away.
So how do our last two like to help?
So I think Tizra is going to do something similar to what Drake was doing, but approaching it more from the perspective of scholars of these sorts of materials and trying to ask around about such knowledge which might not be found within the archives and the library, but in more private locations. And I could see an argument for persuasion or deception or arcana, and I'll roll whichever one of those you'd like.
Let's go with persuasion.
All right. I say my persuasion and my deception are the same, so. And I also have a 22 on persuasion.
Okay, we're slipping. That was a nat 18.
Actually, it was a 17.
Yes, it was. Excuse me. I'm a fighter. I'm not here for the mathematics.
Hey, my first roll of the night was a natural 1. I'll take the 17 on the die.
And what about our cleric? How's the cleric going to?
I think I'm going to go to the guards and see if there is. I'm going to go through like the records room and see if I can match this insignia to any other local crime. Maybe chat with some of the guards and see if they know anything about it. Under the ruse of like a homework assignment and not necessarily an investigative opportunity. So I guess that could be perception, investigation, insight, whatever you want.
I would say it's investigation.
Sure.
Since you're trying
Oh, that's only a 14.
So the group spends the better part of the week, following up leads during the guards and kind of getting a hard time with a couple other people who know better than to try to do too much shady stuff in all this as you try to follow up on some leads. So here's what you uncovered during your awesome investigation. The group that you're trying to follow up on is definitely called the Night Pads. I will actually, because we have a couple natural 20s and you basically got 23s and 24s in some of these tests, I'll throw a couple other details in there for you. The would-be ruffians were local muscle for the Silence. And it seems like the Night Pads have got a stash of old lore and they really don't know a lot to do with it. So their idea was to sell it off, to auction it off to the highest bidders kind of thing. And they seem to have stepped on other toes, including the Silence. And now they're pretty much laying low, thanks to your amazing raccoon ally and your sea folk. You do get some leads that lead you down to an old underground sewer entrance into a possible area that hideout that they're known to use as a safe house. Underneath the city of Aldous is a series of tunnels for sewers and subways, sewers and access tunnels. But also the city itself over the years has actually been built upon multiple times and different areas have sunk due to the use of arcana or other events that transpired, like the Shadow War. So there are actually pockets of sunken sections of Aldous that are actually below ground. They're generally sealed off and not accessible. And usually if they find the guards come across an access point where it might lead to some of these underground areas, they normally weld them off. But more than a few of the nefarious types go back behind and break the welds and make those places that they like to claim as staging grounds. since you do have a raccoon amongst your group, I will also let you know that more than a few of those places are nests for some of the rye rats that live in the city.
I hate those guys.
Clarification, Jonesy?
Uh-huh.
The safe house is a safe house for the night pads, not a safe house for the silence, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just wanted to be clear.
Yes. So basically, it's a quote unquote safe house, but it's actually not a house. It's a old section of the underground that's been repurposed. So.
Hidey hole.
So yeah, you did find a possible location for it. It does seem like the silence is definitely not happy with the night pads, especially after what happened to some of their members being goblinized.
That's fair.
So that is the information you've uncovered. What would you like to do with that information?
Well, I think our next move should be going down there and seeing what they got hidden.
Yeah.
Maybe our heavy hitters should make sure they have their anchors and other battle accoutrements before we
Yeah,
head down there.
I mean, this is a planned excursion. We're not just heading straight there. So
Yeah. I'm gonna go home and get my gym bag, and then meet up at the access point.
Yeah.
I mean, this is true. Last time we were just looking out for a drink. We were not expecting to have a pitched battle across the rooftops.
I'm always expecting a pitched battle across the rooftops.
Yes, well, we are not all as prepared as you are.
That is why I'm putting a recommendation into all your teachers that you take a rogue elective.
I mean, to be fair, Kale and I do not tend to need as much in the way of weapons either.
Still think it'd be helpful for everybody. I'm gonna talk to them about making that part of the core curriculum.
I will take it under advisement.
Awesome. So, the group of you go back to your barracks, get your equipment, including your trusty anchor for our sea folk who likes to wield that as a club / axe / bludgeoning tool.
Like to get fancy with it.
So, and with that, you proceed to make your way through the access point that you got tipped off on, and begin your journey down below the underground of Baldus. So,
What could possibly go wrong?
With that being said, since we do have a Rai Raccoon, Avata, a night person, and a sea folk who all have night vision, leaving only our Jazoni human without night vision, what are you doing for lighting?
Oh, I have my little firefly will land on the back of I have a quarterstaff, and as it lands on it, I will cast the light cantrip on my quarterstaff so that I have a light staff that gives me vision down there.
Awesome. So, how much? What is the range on your light spell? Is it 10 feet? 20
Oh,
feet?
that's a good question. It's a certain number of feet as bright light, and then 10 feet. It's a 20-foot radius for bright light, and then at 20 feet beyond that is dim light. So I'll see 40 feet.
So it's the same as a torch.
Yeah.
That's what I suspected, but I figured I'd double check.
And I
Because
just search.
If it's helpful to you, I'll also stay in the back, further away from everyone,
Yes,
so that
I was going to suggest that.
beacon of light is not is not.
With that, the reason I ask is because, as you will see, I'm trying something new on Roll20 today, and we'll see how this works. I am actually using the lighting features in Roll20, so, which I didn't
I
have to use a whole
love
lot
that
for.
you're fighting in this one.
So this is where I find out if I set it up right.
Far so all right.
But
I
after
see darkness.
you should see your token near the bottom right corner.
Mhm.
So hopefully that is working correctly. So,
Whoa.
so with that, you spend several minutes traveling deep to the sewers. And the sewers aren't too awful bad. I mean, for the city, they're the main sewer section that's easily accessible actually has a trench that runs in the center of it, and actually has nice wide lips that run on either side of it, so that you can actually make your way down without actually having to slog through the dirt and the muck and the refuse. You do know that at some point the sewers get diverted to a plant that actually various arcanists use various either arcane items, or they use different spells to basically help purify the water. So before it gets sent back into the city. So as you make your way through, you do find an old boarded off area that's supposed to have been sealed off for access. As you make your way down deep into the sewers, and that door has been blasted, broken open, blasted down, revealing a small chamber with probably about 20-25 feet across. It's basically a small entry chamber. Off of it, there are 3 doors: one to the east, one to the west, and one to the north.
All right, two legs. Hang out here real quick. I'm gonna sneak in there and make sure there's not any traps waiting for us.
I guess.
These night pad guys were waiting for trouble, so hopefully they didn't, barricade the doors.
Based on the status of this door, it looks like somebody found trouble.
Yeah.
So the main doorway has been busted open. Now the interior, the 3 doors in the interior are all shut like normal. They don't seem to have been blasted open. They may have recently been replaced, something like that. But
yeah, I would like to just go in and take a general search for traps.
Okay. So, being paranoid, but okay. I'm not saying
He's
wrong.
a rogue. That's his job.
My
Um,
life
the meatball,
expectancy is 5 years, alright? I'm paranoid is good enough for me.
so yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and make me a investigation check.
Matchmaker. Give me a 10. Okay.
So, as you make your way in, you kind of check the steps and stuff when leading into the door, kind of sniff around the door. You don't see any indication that there's a trap. As you kind of scan around the area, it seems pretty safe as you make your way into the first full entry area.
All right. I'll sort of scamper over to this door and I will take a listen at it. My ears twitching in the wind.
Awesome. So as you go over and put your ear up against the door, and make a listen, You don't hear anything coming from the other side.
I sure don't. I rolled a 7. And I'll sort of point at Ula and put my little raccoon claw on the door and say, "This one sounds clear." With my telepathy.
Okay. I will try the handle. Does it work like a door?
As you twist the handle, it clicks a little bit and it swings open.
There we go. I step into the great beyond. That's just a hallway. Come on, Ben.
I'm going to scamper up Ula's arms and rest on her shoulders for a second.
So, as they open the door, they proceed to go up a small little flight of steps. And as they do, they see a couple of torches that are lit in the hallway behind them that they go to. It's like a T junction, peering off to the right and left. Off to the right, that is a small little like 10-foot distance before it itself also tees off in two different directions. So there does seem to be some torches here, though. So, and there does seem to be a few doors off to the left from where you're at. Now, the hallway itself to the left, it does go down a bit, but then kind of abruptly ends where it looks like there's been a small cave-in sealing off the end of that little passageway.
Stay here for a second, Ula. I'll be right back. I'm going to come over here looking for a door to listen at. Jonesy, can I tell how long those torches have been lit?
Actually, I was going to say, give me an Arcana check, but I don't think you can. I don't think you can try.
Are they magic torches? I was just going to see if maybe I could tell by how much oil has been burned out on them or something. I don't know. I don't know how torches work.
Yeah, as you investigate it, I will say you won't need a roll for this. They don't seem to be really getting off the smoke that you'd expect from a torch, and they seem to be more like ever-burning torches.
Gotcha.
They're basically that they need to get doused, but they're basically kind of like a continual flame kind of spell, kind of like the light that your cleric proceeds to make, but not quite as bright.
All right, and I will. You said there was a door down here?
Yeah, there's two of them. There should be.
No, it's the cops.
Yeah, we're not supposed to be down here.
I didn't do it. Nobody saw me do it. You can't prove anything.
Yeah, there's a one door that you're basically going right in front of. It's
Right, I'll reach up my little raccoon paw and I'll test the handle to see if it's locked.
As you kind of reach up, does not appear to feel locked.
I will listen at it and see if I can hear anything behind it.
Let's see if you do. You're making your roll.
14.
14. You do not hear any noise coming from inside the room.
Alright, I will take out a tiny piece of chalk and I will make my little thieves' cant symbol for unlocked door. Not sure about occupants.
Okay.
And look back to the group. And I guess I could speak telepathically, so I'll just say.
I was gonna say you can communicate with us telepathically.
Yeah, I don't hear anything behind this door and it's unlocked. I would prefer to look here before we move forward, just in case something sneaks up behind us.
That makes sense to me.
I opened the door as
Yeah.
requested.
Come.
Kale,
I'll
since
follow along.
there is light in that hallway, I don't think there is any reason we need you to stay behind.
Hold on.
Yeah, the whole.
So
place
who's
is
open?
pretty
Who's
lit.
open? Who's opening the door?
Ula.
Ula.
Okay.
Bomb's gonna
I'm-
run and go in behind her.
1 second. Thank you. Using
Oh no.
as you open the door, you see two gentlemen there trying to be very, very quiet, wearing black and tan leather armor. And yeah, I'm going to need an initiative check from everyone.
These
I was
sons
afraid
of
of that.
bitches.
They were trying really hard to be quiet. And out in front of them, you can see a couple of pieces, like some cards that they were playing to kind of pass the time.
I did it again.
Hmm.
So one of these days, I will roll initiative correctly. Someday. Oh, well, for starters, I will do it by clicking something other than inspiration.
We're still doing initiative and factions, I see.
God. Okay.
Yeah, my roll 20 is only really slow for some reason.
Yeah, it's a little pokey.
I blame your timeouts that your rolling blackouts that you were having over in your area.
Oh.
Yes, because
Yeah.
rolling blackouts in Ohio should affect someone's roll 20 in California.
You never know.
Hey.
Hey, if a butterfly flaps its wing, it's in the woods.
Does it make a sound?
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
Would it be the sound that you like? Or should I do it over until I get it right? Wow.
hold on. Apparently I've messed it all up. Apparently we've got everyone on here twice.
Oh.
Yes, but we can't see it because the others are from another map.
Oh.
So we've got
Drake should be at 9, Teetra's at 8, Kale's at 21.16, Vam is at 10.12. The dwarfy looking guys that look like are at 17.12, and
Yeah.
Ula is not on the counter but should be at 4.
Yes.
So you'll have to right click and add turn and manually put in her 4.
awesome.
Of course, our highest initiative is the cleric who's nowhere near the fight.
He's just concerned for our safety.
I don't know if I heard anything. I don't know that I know there's a problem.
Oh, we don't know if there's a problem.
I mean-
You'll know because, well, you all have telepathic links with each other.
Exactly.
Oh, that's right.
say at a bare minimum, me and Drake are capable of projecting telepathically to the party, so we could set up a relay.
Let's go. Yeah, we should at some point tweak the initiative so it doesn't do the point.
Oh,
17.
That's an individual character sheet setting.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can disable that.
Not a huge thing, but so our so with that, you quietly try to open the door and you realize, aha, there are brigands there. Your best get would be probably members of the Night Pads. With that, as initiative goes to our cleric, what would you like to do?
Sure. I will step into the fray over here. That's my 30 feet. And I am going to cast Thaumaturgy and cause my eyes to glow bright yellow as I take out my glowing quarterstaff. And I'm going to look at these two adversaries, and I'm just going to say, you really don't want to be doing this with us right now. And I will try my best to intimidate them.
Okay. So go ahead and give me an intimidation check.
How does an 11 do?
They don't seem to be impressed.
All right. Sounds about right for me. That's my turn.
So with that, my brigands draw their weapons and proceed to try to attack. Seeing how they have a rather large-looking sea folk with a giant anchor, right there, looking all kinds of impressive and scary. Possibly one of the reasons that they weren't so intimidated by you, because they were too focused on the giant maul of a weapon that your ally is wielding, that they move into attack.
Okay.
So with that, they.
I do have one question. Is I have
Uh-huh.
a fighting style called protection.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, am I able to lend my shield to give disadvantage to the attackers, those who are attacking Ula? She's within 5 feet of me, I believe.
Yes.
Cool. Then
So
I'm
you'd
going
like
to do
to-
that.
Okay. And what is Ula's AC?
16.
Okay, so with that, the two of them kind of come forward with their rusty swords and they swing forward. And with that, the first one, your ally swings forward and blocks the attack, and you hear clang as they block it. And the second one does unfortunately kind of slip in under that and does slash you with their rusty sword for 4 points of damage.
Sure.
Awesome. So,
Bob, you're up next.
So Bomb's gonna look at the one whose swing he just blocked. He's just gonna look at him over his shoulder and be like, "Oh, you should not have done that." Picks up his hammer and just gonna take a swing at him. Picks up his hammer. He unslings his hammer. You know how that goes. Okay, I rolled the thing. It is a one-hander. There is a roll. It's not that great. Yeah, it's only an 11 to hit, so that's not so great.
So, so you come pushing on in, swinging your hammer, and unfortunately, you do miss.
Nerds.
So,
Oh, stop moving.
so with that, next up is Drake.
Yeah, Drake is gonna climb up Kale's cape, jump up on his shoulders, jump across over to Vom, land here, and stab this guy in the back.
Why'd you want to do that?
I can think of several reasons.
Because the people who are supposed to be fighting, like our fighters, they're not doing a very good job. 17 to hit.
That's definitely a hit. Yeah.
Dagger, dagger, stab, stab. Rebel, rebel, party, party. 7 points of damage.
Awesome. And it was this one, right?
Yep, the one in front of me. Yep. That's the problem with you silence guys. You have no imagination. You should have listened to Milk Toast over there.
You'll see my bright yellow eyes squint just a little bit at that.
Cool. And brings it to Tezra.
They are going to march down the hallway. Where is the door?
Blast.
Right behind Ula?
Yep.
Okay. And then I'm going to fire an Eldritch Blast underneath Ula's arm at that brigand that Drake just put a dagger into. And I'm going to miss with my Eldritch Blast.
So, what does your Eldritch Blast look like?
It is a dark bluish purple that is very easy to miss in the night sky. It is accompanied by a feeling of, it's not cold damage, but there's a chill in the air as if winter is coming.
So in this dark dungeon, little crypt area, possibly crypt, your bolt flies through the air, and it's hard to see. It's late. It's dark. You guys are the only light source is a couple of torches, and now there's lots of shadows because there's lots of people moving in front of them. As it goes past you, Drake, you feel a slight gust of cold chill, and which you felt before as you've been close enough to feel the Eldritch Blast go off. Next up, Ula.
I see the guy right in front of me, and I'm just going to go for it. 18 hit.
That's definitely a hit.
Okay. And that's 11 points of damage as I tee off golf swing right up this man's chin with my anchor.
So to the one right directly in front of you, or the one to the side?
Right in front of me. I'm going for a hole-in-one.
Guy who already took 7 points of stabby damage.
Yep.
That's going to be unfortunate.
Oh no.
Actually, let's do it this way. So with that, you just bring the the big anchor up, and with that, as an uppercut, you hear a crack and snap, and you're pretty sure his jaw is in at least 2, if not 3 or more pieces, as he drops to the ground. Doesn't even have time to scream, just drops to the ground.
I'm going to look at his buddy and say, you can keep yours if you want, and I will pass the turn.
So with that, top of the round.
I warned you, you fools. I will cast Radiant Bolt at the remaining person.
Technically speaking, there's only one fool.
Yeah,
Well,
warned both of the fools.
So with that, yeah, go ahead and cast your Radiant Bolt, which is a class ability for the to
Radiant, yeah. Does a 13 hit?
A 13 does hit.
Hooray, for 7 points of radiant damage.
You know, Vom, there is still a couple of seconds of consciousness after death. That guy probably heard the fool's comment.
Thank you. And I will say, catch me if you can, so that I can escape. Because I don't like close combat. And I will run back out of the hallway. And
Awesome.
that'll be the
Next up is my bandit. With that, my bandit will drop his crappy rusty sword, and yeah, and will clutch his side, which is now burning. And you can actually smell this scorched singe smell of flesh and leather as it's burned through his armor. And he's not bleeding out though because it's cauterized the wound. But he'll drop his sword and kind of take a half step back. He is now unarmed.
Now, that's all we ask.
All right, Bucko, are you a night pet or are you with the silence?
He's just kind of staring at the group like, crap.
Oh, I didn't know all the members of the silence were mute. My bad.
That might explain the name.
Night pad.
Stand corrected.
Look at that, he can't talk.
Did
All
you
right,
finish
Bucko.
him off?
We don't need to finish him off. He's all right. He didn't want to play tag with you, Kale.
Well, that's no fun.
But yeah, you, what's your name?
Drim.
Grim?
Drim.
Drim. Oh boy. Your mother saw you as a baby and was like, I'm gonna name this kid Drim. Awesome.
Is that your brother, Drew?
Alright, Drim. Sit down. Come down to eye level with me.
He does. He sits.
Now, I need you to know that we're here in this little shithole that you all call a hideout, looking for some stolen nerd stuff, like books, maps, tomes. I have it on good authority that somebody was coming through here to bring you some stuff when the silence got involved.
Yeah. The boss has got some stuff like that. Yeah.
Is the boss here?
Yeah.
How many of you pads are down here?
I don't know. A dozen maybe.
What do you mean you don't know? Don't you live down here?
Well, I mean, people come and go from missions all the time. I don't know who's. Yeah.
Alright, so there's like a dozen of you. Anything else nasty down here we need to be concerned about? Could be bad for our health.
maybe.
Oh, come on, spit it out, boy. Or do you want to talk to Ula?
I'll just practice my golf swing in the corner while they're talking.
You know what they say about loose lips and ships and everything, but there's an anchor that'll definitely sink yours.
I-
Yeah. There's some others here, and there's some safety precautions.
Well, you guys got OSHA down here. That's cool. What kind of safety precautions? Is there a password?
If you don't go the right corridors and do the right stuff, then yeah, there's a room that locks you in, and a hallway that is trapped.
All right, Drim. All right, I'm gonna reach into my pack and pull out a little piece of parchment and hand him a piece of chalk. I want you to draw on this map the route that we're supposed to take. And if I find out that you draw this wrong, I will come back and find you.
A lot easier to make him go first.
No, he's not gonna go first. He's hurt. He's gonna cooperate with us, and then he's gonna get out of here, and he's gonna live a better life. Ain't you, Drim?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see? He's even got manners already. If you draw that map right, I'm gonna go ahead and give you enough silver to get your name changed to something respectable, then you go off to the college envoys. And maybe put yourself to use.
Okay.
And I want you to be real accurate, alright? Real precise.
Okay. And with that, he starts trying to scribble out a map for you.
While he's doing it, can I give an insight check to see if I believe that what he's doing is accurate?
Sure.
Natural 20 for a 25.
Yes.
You think the watching his friend pretty much just have his jaw shattered in multiple pieces has probably put the fear of the gods in him.
More specifically, the fear of Ula.
Oh,
Yeah. And so he scribbles out a map. And as he's finishing up the map, I think this is a great time for us to go to our first quick break and come back with him finishing up the map.
Awesome.
yay.
Well, I will go ahead and switch over to break. We're gonna get up and stretch our legs and grab some water and snacks. We'll be back in just a few minutes.